Hey everybody, so today we're going to talk about escaping the education trap as a Pakistani. This is something that I think a lot of people should be talking about, but nobody really talks about it for various reasons again. But I think today I'll talk about it. So we're going to start with something very, very important, which is the fact that our government, what does it give us? Okay, any government, like any political party, anything at all. There are two purposes. The first one is the purpose of security, and the second one has got to be the purpose of freedom. Freedom for people that are capitalists, people that are rich, people that can afford freedom as well. Security for those people who are actually poor, who can't actually have much, and therefore their only concern is their security. And how does security in a Pakistani household come from? It actually literally stems from a job, okay? Specifically, a government job, okay? Because that gives you more security, right? You get to have retirement, you get to have, pension and stuff like that. And that's literally what we as Pakistanis probably need. I mean, at least in the theoretical sense. And when people are out here unemployed with literal degrees in their hands, that's concerning. That's literally concerning. I'll tell you like the studies and you'll be shocked as well. So according to the studies, there are 5.9 million unemployed people in Pakistan, okay? Which means people who are currently looking for work, people that don't have jobs at all. Now, then again, we have to talk about a very, very unhopeful thing as well, I'd say. And that is, according to studies shown, the rate of unemployment increased from 6.3% to actually 6.9% from 2020 to 2025. Now, instead of it going down or declining, it actually increased. Like, what does it show? What does it signify? That we as Pakistanis, our government, nobody is really responsible for what we end up becoming. And we eventually, if we don't do something about it ourselves, will literally be part of this research. Okay, will literally be part of the next research, for instance. So in order to skip that, we have to understand how the education system works and what is wrong with it. So the education system in Pakistan, so from kindergarten to literally 12th grade or A levels or whatever it is that you do, you're told okay, if you get good grades, I mean you're set for life. If you like only end up getting distinctions, you're going to enter great university, and then you'll do great. Okay, now when you do that, which is good, get good grades, now get into a university. Okay, you get into a good university, and then you graduate. And what are you left with? You're literally left with a system that taught you learning, that taught you how to memorize theoretical shit that is never going to be useful in your life. And now you have this whole S degree in your hands with zero skills at all, because all you did was actually cram for your exams one night before your actual exam. So this is what the education system in Pakistan signifies or teaches you. And how do we combat this? Now, in order to combat this, we have to have very critical thinking. Okay, there are three essential things that I think a lot of people can, somehow internalize and incorporate in their life for a great benefit. And the first one has got to be that you have to have an actual skill. Now, this can't be emphasized enough, because if you have a whole as degree, but you literally don't have anything significant to, cherish, for instance, or something that you can actually, monetize as well, that is of no use at all. Sadly, in Pakistan or anywhere out there in the world, it is of no use. So you need to have an actual skill too. Okay, for example, now I'll give you an example. So you get into CS, computer science. There are a lot of people who are in CS. It's a saturated field, right? Now, if you go there, I'll give you a very basic example. You go into a computer science class, you take all the theoretical shit. For example, you don't even have a laptop and you don't know how to even open a laptop, but bunch of theories and a bunch of things. What are you going to end up becoming? You're going to end up becoming a person who has theoretical information, okay, but literally can't even turn on a computer. That's how important it is to have an actual skill instead of just having theoretical information about that skill. Okay, so you need to have the pragmatic and practical aspect to your degree as well, or to your interests as well. The second thing that I think is very important again, and it might be even more important than having an actual skill. I mean, not like equally as important, I'd say at least. And it is having good communication skills. Now, see, there are two categories of people, I believe. There is one category of people who are a little too humble about their, you know, strengths, and there are people who are a little too overconfident about their skills. These both are something that we have to avoid becoming. We can't be this, we can't be that. None of these is good in the corporate life or in actual world, because both are equally disturbing, honestly. So you have to have a balance of both. You need to have like knowledge about your strengths, you need to have knowledge about your weaknesses, but then again, you don't need to be overly overconfident or overly humble about your strengths and weaknesses. And that is why you need to portray your skill in a way that you can monetize it as well in the world that we live in, because a lot of people are going to have skills. For instance, like for example, a lot of people will have degrees. Okay, there's this a spectrum. There are a lot of people who are going to have degrees, a lot of people with degrees. For example, 90% people you'll find with degrees. I'll give you an example. Then with actual skills, it'll be probably, I'd say fairly 50%. Okay, now with good communication skills, that will literally, the ratio will decrease insanely. It might even be 25%. So you have to learn how to actually monetize your skill, and that will be done with the help of your communication skills. Because why would somebody pick you out of so much saturation, out of so many people that they can actually pick? Why would they pick you? You need to have actual reasons, and that you will give with your communication skills, or how you portray yourself, for instance. And the third thing, which I think a lot of people don't really talk about, is the moral values you need to have. Now, see, it is absolutely understandable that the world we live in is full of corrupt people, full of, people with toxicity. But then again, that's the point. If you're going to be like everybody else, if you're going to be like as toxic as everybody else is, as weird as everybody else is, what is the difference? Like, you are in a social setting. You say, for instance, corporate world is a little too toxic, and therefore we can't trust anybody, and there are these toxic people around you. Okay, you have two choices. You can distance yourself from them and still be your own person, still be a very good person. Okay, still not necessarily try to be like them, toxic, because they are toxic, so I'm going to be toxic as well. This is something that you have to understand is not a really healthy way of thinking. They are toxic, you distance yourself, and you maintain your character. That is really important. So you need to have your moral values as well intact for this to actually work out. And the last thing now, and the most important, I think, would be to realize that success, it's very different for everybody around us. Okay, for example, I can't even spell success, and I'm out here teaching people or talking about success. Okay, but that doesn't make sense. Care. The one important thing that I think we should actually talk about is success looks different for everybody around us. Like for me, it might be having a certain amount of money. For somebody, it might be literally at being at peace. Okay, so you have to choose what your definition of success is, and try to achieve that instead of fitting into the already made up definition of success that comes from other people to you. And you're suddenly like, okay, having that car means you're successful, having that house means you're successful, having this thing means you're successful. No, you need to create your own definition of success that actually caters to your own needs as well. Okay, and if you don't do that, you literally live a life that is unfulfilled, because you'll keep on trying to be something, trying to reach a point in your life, and there will be no end to it. Like it is never ending. Like when you pursue something that you are not even clear about, that you are not even certain about, then it's absolutely gonna be way horrendous, I think. And that is why these things combined together will actually help us combat this education trap in Pakistan, or like this career trap in Pakistan. So hope you all had a great day. Goodbye.